This installment of the Look Back series is part 2 on the biggest party St. Louis ever threw, the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, or the St. Louis World's Fair, held from April 30 until December 1st, 1904. The fair was about a decade in the making, and it took several years, 3 or 4, to transform the western half of Forest Park and more than 600 acres to the west of Skinker, including parts of Washington University's campus, into the great fairgrounds. The fair opened when Teddy Roosevelt, in the White House, flipped a switch to make the cascades and fountains bubble down what we now call Art Hill. There were nearly 200,000 people there for the opening day, and as many as 20 million are said to have attended it over its 7-month run. About 12 million paid, so even if you take the lower number, that was a pretty good party. Opening day also included John Philip Sousa leading the band, so this was a serious national event. Spread across the Forest Park were 12 palaces, massive exhibition halls made of wood and plaster that held the works of America's industry. There were typewriters, there were fountain pens, there were locomotives, there were all sorts of agricultural products, including a large building made of corn. The big attraction for a lot of people was the Midway, known as the $10 million Pike, which ran along Lindell, west of today's Jefferson Memorial, or the Missouri History Museum. It had amusements, it had rides, it had all sorts of food concessions. Up the hill on Art Hill was the Festival Hall, which is now gone. Behind it was the Palace of Art, which is now the Art Museum. That's one of the few buildings left that we have from the fair. The birdhouse, the cage at the zoo, is another legacy from the fair. 45 states and territories, as well as 43 countries, had pavilions and exhibits at the fair. What we now call Government Hill in the park, just east of the zoo, was topped by the Missouri Pavilion, now site of the World's Fair Pavilion, which was built after the fair. The Missouri Pavilion burned almost two weeks before the fair was to end. Washington University's campus hosted the Olympics for 1904. It was the 3rd Olympics in the modern era. The fair ended on December 1. An estimated 100,000 people were there for the fireworks finale. Among the wonderful myths to the fair is that the ice cream cone was invented there. Sadly, it was not. It had been invented by a New York confectioner the year before. However, the fair can lay claim to popularizing the summer treat, and that's a pretty good legacy to carry forward.